What's up? It's your boy JP. I'm clocking in with you guys. And the topic of discussion today is going to be something that's trending that I really see on social media regarding, black people and black culture. And it's a term called black fatigue. What it basically is saying that, everybody's tired of niggas. Everyone's tired of niggas, man. White people are tired of niggas. Asians are tired of niggas. Hispanics are tired of niggas. Chinese are tired of niggas. Everyone's tired of niggas. Every fucking body. And what this basically is, we've gotten to a point where the culture regarding black people in this country has gotten so fucking bad, has gotten so fucking decadent, has gotten so fucking shameless that even it's starting to take a toll on black people themselves that have to make it their business to speak out against these things, because it's now getting to a point where now it's like, black people themselves are turning racist against other black people because it's that fucking bad. And my personal view on this is I'm happy that this is happening. I'm happy that, shit's being called out now. I'm happy that, that people have safe spaces to, voice their opinions about all the horrible shit that I've been talking about for years. And it's like, me personally, bro, it's gotten to a point where, I avoid people who look like me altogether. When I'm out in public, I go near people who look like me. I don't really talk to people who really look like me. I just avoid, niggas altogether, if I'm being honest, bro, because from my experience, bro, we've basically turned into the most horrible human beings ever fucking possible. Like, niggas complain about slavery and complain about fucking, white people complain about the system, complain about everything that's fucking them up, but they never put any action into resolving these issues. They never put any action into bettering their community, bettering themselves, bettering their situation. They're just perpetual victims in a cycle that they feed and that they don't want to hold any accountability for. And, they just point the fingers. It's just an endless cycle of recriminations and no solutions. So, from that standpoint, you just have to say, man, there's no hope for this shit. Like what I've been saying for fucking years, there's no hope. There's no hope, bro. It's so fucking bad, you guys. I can tell you that from my experience, bro. It is bad, man. It is bad. And people back in the day couldn't speak out against these things. Pre-social media era, you had to get along. You had to go along to get along. You had to basically just stay quiet. Basically, not talk out against these things, because they'll label you as an Uncle Tom, he's tap dancing for white people. He wants to be white. He's an Oreo. He's weird. He's this, he's that. You have to really bite your tongue, or otherwise, they'll turn against you very fast, bro. We always talk about how tribal white people are, but black people are equally as tribal, bro. They're equally as vicious when it comes to people they view as, people they perceive as traitors, as race traitors. White people, we already know what they do. They call you a nigga lover. They talk shit about you, and they do all this type of shit. Black people do the same thing. They do the same thing. They call you Oreo. They loves white people, want to be white. It's brutal tribalisms on both sides. And my issue with niggas is, these black folks walk around here calling themselves kings and queens and gods and empresses, and we the first this, and we ruled the earth, and we the first man, and we do all this fucking horse shit, bro. All this shit that they read in books and saw on a fucking television or whatever, man. We've actually convinced ourselves we've actually convinced ourselves that we're royalty. And just look at the behavior that we exude in society. Just look at us, bro. Every time you walk out into society, who's the most unruly? Who's the most primal, who's the most, most animalistic, who, like, come on, bro. Like, you know, it gets exhausting after a while, man. It gets exhausting, bro. These niggas out here are even putting the pro black people out of, putting the pro black people out of business, bro. The pro black people even is fucking tired of these people. Even the pro blackity black people are tired, bro, of, making excuses and trying to defend this shit. Even they're tired, bro. So I can imagine what the other races are thinking. Some days I just say, man, I can't blame other races for being racist towards us, for being so prejudiced, for being so exclusionary, being so horrible to us, bro. Because look how we are, man. Look how we are, bro. Look what we do. Look at what we value. Look at our beliefs. Look at what gains our attention. If cultures were chess pieces, we think we're the kings and queens, but in reality, we'd be the court jesters. We'd be the court jesters if all cultures around the world were represented as chess pieces. We'd be the court jesters. We'd be the pieces that's brought out to entertain the castle, to entertain the kingdom. We're a bunch of fools and murderers. That's what we are. We're a bunch of fools and murderers. We know how to entertain and we know how to kill. That's it. We know how to be entertaining and we know how to destroy. That's it, bro. You feel me? And it's like, man, I'm glad that this thing is taking off, bro. I'm glad that black fatigue is becoming a thing, bro. Because at this point, it's not even black fatigue. It's fucking black exhaustion, bro. It's black collapse, bro. Because, man, this shit's been going on for so fucking long. I don't see how it took this long to have its own hashtag, have its own phrase. I don't see how it took this long. I don't see it. But, you can't say none of this shit. You can't say none of this shit because if once you do, bro, they're going to immediately say you're trying to impress white people, you're trying to do this, oh, self-hate, oh, he hates himself, he has self-hatred, oh, he's an Uncle Tom, oh, all this shit. It's not self-hate. For all you people who love to say it's not self-hate. I love myself. I can guarantee you guys, I absolutely love myself, bro. I love that I'm not an impressionable, stupid, angry Negro like most of society. Like most of these black people out here that's just angry and dumb and quick to destroy anything around them. I'm happy I'm not like that. I have no self-hate. I love myself. But I'm speaking as far as, what I see. This is what I see. We're not taken seriously if we're not entertaining people or we're not playing any sports, man. We're not taken seriously. It's hard to be taken seriously as a black person if you're not going into sports or entertainment. It is hard to be taken seriously, man. It's hard, man. And it's especially hard for the good black dude, the good black man, the good black woman that's trying to be right, that's trying to live right, that's trying to do the right thing, that's trying to make a living for him or herself. It's hard for that person because you know why? Because the residue of people who look like them will always weigh them down, bro. A black man trying to do right will, he will always be viewed in the light of the undesirables of his race. He will always be viewed like the dude on the street that's causing havoc. And they don't care that you're nothing like that. They don't care that, you don't sag your pants, that you don't curse, that, you're not ingrained in toxic black culture. They don't care, man. It's the majority of people. When you have the majority of people, participating in this degenerate culture and they fit a certain image, sooner or later that perception starts to overshadow even the good ones. People start to have that perception about everybody who looks like that, regardless if they're good or not, because the majority rules. Majority rules. And that's That's basically what it is, man. That is basically what it is, man. The majority screws the minority, bro. As far as the black race, bro, they try to pull everybody into their misery, bro. Because they're not shit. They want you not to be shit. Because they're miserable, they want to pull you down into their own misery. You know, that's what they want to do. You know, horrible black people hate good black people. I can tell you that firsthand. I remember when I was going to school in middle school, and it was full of nothing but gang members, bullies, just horrible kids, just absolute terrible kids, man. And they hate to see somebody that's just different from them. They hate to see somebody that's just, that's just not as impressionable as them. You know, when I was going to that school, it was nothing but gangland, just absolute bullshit every day, all day. You know, and here's the thing with them, they try to make you what they are, bro. They try to make you what they are, bro. And if they sense a innocence in you, if they sense a untouched spirit in you, bro, they try to influence you, bro. They try to make you what they are, bro. They're not comfortable being around people that's not like them, homie. They're not comfortable because it reminds them how shitty that they are. That's what happened when I went to that badass fucking middle school, bro. I went there, they saw that I wasn't a gang member, that I'm not impressionable by the fucking hip hop rap fucking dumbass culture. They saw that, I'm not an animalistic, a violent person. They saw that. And what did they do, bro? Every day I came there, they tried to, you know, peer pressure me into becoming what they are, peer pressure me into doing drugs, peer pressure me into joining a gang, peer pressuring me into, acting a certain way, peer pressuring me to be a womanizer, you know. And I wasn't any of those things, bro. You know, I wasn't any of those things. That's why I say, bro, these niggas love to pull people into their own misery, bro. They will make you a lost cause just like they are, bro. I swear to God, bro. I swear to fucking God, bro. And it's fucking sad, bro. It's fucking sad. I don't see how anybody, can really be proud of the black race, homie. I don't see it, bro. Like, what is there to be proud of? The only thing people are gonna say is shit that happened hundreds of years ago, decades ago, thousands of years ago. That's our accomplishments. Shit that happened way before anybody was fucking born. When you talk about what black people have done, all they're gonna say is, "Oh, civil rights. Oh, Black Wall Street. Oh, we were kings and queens thousands of years ago. Oh, we invented this. Oh, we did that." But what about right now? What about modern times, bro? What about post-civil rights era? What the fuck have we done? What have we done? What have we accomplished? What have we collectively, have something to be proud of? What have we done? All we got is hip-hop bullshit, gang bullshit. We haven't done anything, man. We haven't done nothing, bro, to be proud of, to stand before the world and say, "Look, guys, we're not animals. We can make something of ourselves. Look, guys, we're not the criminals and the primal beasts that you think we are. Look, guys, look what we've done. Look what we accomplished. Look what we've created. Look what we manufactured." We haven't done any of that shit. We don't have nothing to show before the world to disprove what they think about us, bro. And that's just all it is. People say, "Oh, not all of us is like that." Okay, cool. Now prove to me that not all of you guys are like that. Do something. Create something collectively as a group. We love to say, "Oh, not all of us are criminals, not all of us are stupid, not all of us are act that way," but we have no achievement collectively to counteract those accusations, bro. We have nothing to counteract those stereotypes. All we have is words. All we have is emotional responsive words. You know, all we have is rebuttals, bro. You know, and that's my thing, bro. That's my issue with the nigga race in America, bro. We know everything and we still stupid. You know, we know everything. We know it all now, bro. You talk to these Negroes nowadays, bro. They so smart now. They so woke. Bro, they know everything about everything now, bro. You talk to this Negro over here, he's a Hebrew Israelite. You talk to that Negro over there, he's a Moor. You talk to this nigga over here, he's the original Jews. You talk to this nigga over here, he's a African king, Shamite, Tamite, whatever the fuck they're calling themselves. You talk to this nigga over here, he believes that he's the original man. You talk to that nigga over there, he's a Muslim. That one's a Christian. That one's a Buddhist. You know, it's just, man, they got all these groups for these niggas now, homie. You know, they got all these groups: Muslim, original Jew, kings, fucking Pharaoh, and all this shit, man. Christian, all this shit. They got all these groups. They know all this information now. You know, they know all of it now. They know everything about everything. They know what happened thousands of years ago. They know that religion is a lie. They know that, oh, you know, they know everything about slavery, everything. You know, they know all this pointless information, bro. You know, they know it all, bro. You can't tell them nothing, bro. And yet, with all this information, with all this new collective, you know, knowledge we have, what do we have to show for it, bro? Collectively as a group, with all this accumulated knowledge that we have from the internet, from the podcast, from social media, from all the books, from all the movies, from all the, you know, lost text of the black, you know, of the black kingdoms from the old, from all this shit. What do we have to show for it as a group? What do we have? We don't have shit to show for it. We don't have nothing, bro. We don't have nothing. We so smart and yet we still in the same place. Back in the day, they thought that once niggas become smart, we gonna be running things. That's what they thought back in the day. Like in the fucking like in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s, they thought knowledge, you know, education was the only thing holding us back. And now us here in 2025 with all this information, so much information, we don't know what to do with it. With all this information at our fingertips, we're still the murderous, primal fucking abominations that we've been, you know. Even with all this information, we're still a fucking lost cause. You know, but black fatigue is real. I've been experienced black fatigue. I've experienced black fatigue a fucking decade ago. You know, nobody wants to be around us. Nobody wants us in their stores. Nobody wants our women past sex. You know, a black woman's good for sex, but that's probably it. You know, no one wants to take a black woman home to meet their family or to do any fucking thing. Nobody wants to employ the black man. Nobody wants to be around black children because they're seen as little fucking murderous predators. You know, it's a pretty shit show that we got going on as far as a race of people. It's a shit show. It's a fucking shit show, man. I could tell you that. It is a major shit show down here with the black race. You know, and you just gotta ask yourself, how worse can this get? You know, how worse can this get? You know, 1 out of 3 black men will go to jail, and that hasn't been disproven since the 1980s. That has not been. Imagine how crazy that is. Since the 1980s, they've had a study that says 1 out of 3 black males will go to jail or be under some type of community supervision. And that has never been disproven, ever. Think of how consistently bad that we've had to be since the 80s to not ever disprove that. That's crazy, bro. That's fucking crazy. You know. But hey, bro. This is the shit that they justify, bro. This is the shit that they justify, man. And you know, it's gotten bad, bro. It's gotten really, really fucking bad. You know, I used to look at the niggas who, who breed themselves out of this fucking race. You know, I used to look at the niggas who have babies with white women and Spanish women as seen them as crazy or seen them as weird. But now, I understand you guys now because I'm really starting to realize that giving your child a chance to not be in black culture is a blessing, bro. Giving them a chance to be a part of another culture other than this fucking sadistic ass monkeyfied culture is a you're giving them a chance at a good life, bro. You know, giving them a chance to have an option to go to another culture, bro. It's you're giving them the best shot at life. A kid who only has black culture, who only has nigga culture, that kid is most likely gonna be a fucking undesirable. But if he has a white mama or a Spanish mama, you know, he can go to that Spanish side. He can go to that Spanish side and learn the values of respect, of family, of togetherness, of unity, of discipline. He can learn that over there because he's not going to learn that over here on the black side because it's an unruly mess over here. Same thing if he has a white mama. If he has a white mama, he can go to his white mom, the white family side. He can learn what conservatism is. He can be a conservative, you know. He can learn about money. He can learn about, he can learn about country. He can learn about respect, you know. He can learn about decency. He can learn about, everything that goes along with white culture, because he's not going to learn any of that shit over here on the nigga side. He's not going to learn any of that shit. Any of it. He's going to be pressured to be the worst version of himself on this black side. Whatever that child is, He's going to be pressured to be the worst versions of himself to be validated by the culture. So, a biracial baby that's a half black, half whatever else baby has a shot because he has a choice to go over there. But a pure black baby has no choice but to stay in the nigga shit. But, I understand those guys now. I understand those guys now. Because I'm tired of this shit, guys. I can't. I don't know what else to say. I'm tired of it. We're so entitled to. This is the thing with us. We're so entitled. We want everything given to us on a silver platter, and yet we absolutely give nothing in return. We're so far gone, bro. Exactly. We are so far gone that whenever I look at people trying to save us or trying to help us or trying to, just try to recuperate us in any type of way, I just look at them and like they're the biggest fools on earth, bro. The damage that's been inflicted within the nigger race is just unrepairable, bro. And for anyone out there who's listening to me at the sound of my voice, bro, focus on yourself and your loved ones, bro. Focus on your money. Focus on your health. Do not try to save the nigger race. Hell, don't even try to save the human race. Don't even try to save the humans. Everything is working exactly as intended. The CIA won a long time ago. You have fucking 7-year-old girls dancing the sexy red. It's over, you guys. Black people had a good run. We created jazz, we had the civil rights, we had Black Wall Street, we had quote-unquote kingdoms from thousands of years ago in Africa, but now we're a fucking laughingstock of the world. Africa's a laughingstock, Black America's a laughingstock, Jamaica's a laughingstock, Haiti's a laughingstock, the Black UK nation is a laughingstock. They're over there fucking stabbing each other to death, everywhere we go. the animalistic bullshit. You know, we will always be behind, bro. We will never beat that slave mentality. We will never beat it. We were meant to be. We were perfect slaves, bro. I always say that, man. We were perfect fucking slaves. When I look at our behaviors in society today, when I look at how we act, how we, cooperate, how we interact with one another, we were the perfect slaves for white people, bro. We made the perfect slaves, bro. When you look at the loyalty, when you look at the aggression, when you look at the the fakeness, you know, the 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 refusal to unify, bro. Black people made the perfect slaves, man. You know, we made the perfect slaves, bro. And they can put us right back in slavery right now if they wanted to, bro. Because we're weak, bro. We are weak. We are a weak race of people. We are weak. We are weak. We're so tough against everybody else. We're so tough against ourselves, bro. We're the toughest motherfuckers alive when it comes to destroying each other. I've noticed that. We're the toughest motherfuckers alive, bro. When it comes to destroying ourselves, when it comes to infighting, when it comes to destroying another black person, we're the toughest motherfuckers alive. Nothing is gonna stand in our way when a black dude decides that he wants to kill or destroy another black dude. Nothing's gonna stand in that dude's way. He's gonna do whatever it takes to destroy his brother. He's gonna do whatever it takes to denigrate and absolutely obliterate his brother. But let it be another race of people. Let it be another race. He thinks twice, boy. He thinks twice, bro. That's why I say, man, we the perfect slave, man. Literally, we are the perfect slaves, bro. We don't want to hurt each other. We don't want to hurt nobody. We don't want to hurt. We don't want to hurt the white boy. We don't want to hurt the Spanish boy. We don't want to hurt the Asian boy, even though they did have that Asian hate bill. You know, we don't want to hurt no one else, bro. We on hurting each other, bro. So yeah, you goddamn right. It's black fatigue, bro. I'm fatigued. I'm exhausted. I'm bewildered at this fucking black bullshit. You know, you goddamn right. Black fatigue, man. Black fatigue all the fucking way. I can't fucking stand you niggas. I stay away from y'all fucking niggas, honestly. Y'all got no hope, bro. There is no hope for this shit. Y'all got no hope, man. The CIA won. The damage is irreparable. You can't put the toothpaste back in the fucking tube. That ship has sailed. That horse is dying in a barn. You know, it's over, man. It's over. We're the Titanic, but we've already been at the bottom of the ocean for decades now. That's what we are. You know, no one wants to do anything involving us, bro. When other races have to deal with us, they cherry pick us, bro. When other races have to deal with us, they say, you know what? Line these niggas up. Okay, I'm gonna pick that one and that one. You know, they cherry pick with us, man. They don't let us all in at once like, other races all get let in at once. But with us, they cherry pick. They cherry pick us. They say we can't have too many of them. We have to choose certain ones. But with other races, oh yeah, it's white people, let them all in. It's Asian people, let them all in. It's Chinese people, let them all in. You know? You know? It's Spanish people, let them all in. But with us, with black people, no, line them up first. Get that one, get that one, get that one. And the rest of them, send them back home. You know? That's just what it is, man. That's what it is. That's what it's always gonna be. We're fucking doomed, you know. We're doomed. I don't advise anyone to try to save this shit. I really don't. Don't waste your time. Anybody who tries to save black people ends up dead, broke, or just simply an angry motherfucker. The people who's trying to save black people are always angry, broke, or dead. Don't let that be you. Get money, live your life, stay away from these fucking psychopathic niggas and their fucking demon children. You know, but yeah, it's black fatigue all the way. Black fatigue. I'm on the black fatigue train, bro. I'm on the black fatigue because there's no way that we could lead the nation in murders and still think that we're kings and queens. There's absolutely no fucking way. We're the fucking famine of the land. We're the fucking strife of the land. We're strife. You know, we're not kings and we're the strife. We're the plague, like locusts. You know, we're like locusts. That's ravaging the whole kingdom like a plague of locusts. That's what we are. But we think we kings and queens. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Get the fuck out of here, man. I'm making this video longer than the motherfucker. Cause I got some shit to get off of us. You know, there's no way you telling me we lead the nation in murders, only being 13% of the population. You know, the illiteracy level within children, within black children in schools, most of them can't read past a third grade reading level. The women are fucking undesirable past sex. The women are unruly, they're disrespectful, they're irritable, they're masculine, they're violent, you know, they're arrogant, you know, they don't sustain a man in any type of way outside of sex. You know, how in the fucking world can we delude ourselves and say we're these celestial people, we're these majestic people, you know, we're royalty, we're this, like how? That's why I never understood that shit. How, man? How can people just be okay with this shit? And here's the worst part: they keep birthing more kids into this bullshit. You know, look at every city. Really, look at all the cities that niggas have ruined, homie. Like, look at all these cities that got the highest homicides rates, bro. Look at all the cities, bro, and everyone wants to overlook it. Like, look at fucking Baltimore. Look at Miami. Look at Chicago. Look at Memphis. You know, look at St. Louis. Look at Texas, Houston, Texas. You know, look at all these. Look at Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Come on, guys. Look at California. Ruined California. Look at the ignorance that's going on in New York, Jamaica, Queens, New York. You know, Bed-Stuy. Look at that shit, bro. This like, look at Atlanta. Oh my God, couldn't pay me $1 billion to live in that fucking Sodom and Gomorrah land. Like, look at fucking Atlanta and all the ignorance over there. That's the nigga, you know, that's a nigga wonderland over there. Atlanta, you know, ugh, God no. Like, look at all these cities, bro. That's just crazy, bro. That's just with crazy violence, bro. You know, crazy violence, bro. And we're the ones, you know, perpetrating it. We're the ones, you know, that's responsible for all this fucking horrors. You know, like, look, like, come on, guys. We destroy everything we fucking touch, bro. You guys are not black fatigued yet? I am. I am. I'm black fatigued like a motherfucker. I'm black fatigued up to my fucking neck, bro. You know. But, you know, it is what it is, you guys. It is what it is. You know, it's gonna get worse, guys. Don't pray to don't you know, don't pray for it to get better, because it's gonna get worse. And another thing, I'm gonna end off this video with this. You know, these radical blackity black people who celebrating that the white race is going extinct, who celebrating that, you know, white people are becoming minority and black people are you know, procreating like a motherfucker. I wouldn't, if I were you, I would not be celebrating, because here's the reality, bro. Without white people, this country would fall, homie. And this is a black person saying that. Without white people, this country would fall. And even worse, bro, if black people ever, when I don't ever predict that's going to happen, but if black people ever ran America, America would fall within 24 hours. And I am so fucking serious. And I am so fucking serious. But these radical black people who think, who's excited that, you know, who's excited that, white people are, going extinct. I wouldn't be excited. I wouldn't fucking be excited. You know, it's their minds that run all this shit. It's their ideas. It's their forward thinking. It's their innovation that creates all the things that black people enjoy, that everyone else enjoy. It's not us. We're not the thinkers. That's what they don't realize, bro. We're not the fucking thinkers. This is them. That thinks of this shit. That formulates this shit. You know, they create all this shit. They create the fucking Lamborghinis, the designs for the Lamborghinis. They create all the technology, the internet, the fashion, and they create all this shit. What do? We play basketball, football, we rap, and we sing, we dance. That's pretty much it. We don't create nothing. We don't manufacture anything. We don't put things into being. We don't do any of that shit. We're just some entertaining, funny motherfuckers. So that's another thing, these radical blacks don't understand. Without white people, this country would severely decline in quality. That's just the reality. You know, I'm not a fool. I'm not naive. It's white people who keeps this country going. It's not black people. Thank fucking God. Thank God we're not in power. Thank God, bro. America will turn into one big ass Atlanta, Georgia. Oh my God. But I'm in this video. Leave a comment down below. Subscribe, share. I'm always down to talk with you guys. I'm always down to have healthy debates. What did you think of this video? I know I went in. I know you guys agree with some things. You disagree with, other things. But let me know below. It's JP, and I am clocking out.